Craving the perfect holiday snack? Check out Farmer Bill's Biltong. Think beef jerky, but better. No sugar, no preservatives, just pure animal protein goodness. Crafted from premium grass-fed beef or bison and air-dried to perfection, Farmer Bill's Biltong is nutrient-packed, energy-dense, and perfect for an on-the-go treat or a standout snack for your next party. My favorite is the original bison, but the other flavors like the original beef, smokehouse, and spicy chili had me second-guessing that choice more than once. Visit FarmerBillsProvisions.com to grab a 1-pound slab or a variety pack and use code BIZBIT10 for 10% off. Farmer Bill's Biltong, don't be the 2-liter guy at this year's Christmas party.
There's been a few businesses that have had the eureka moment and they go, wait a second, even if I take the cash from IBEX and I don't take any Bitcoin, I'm paying lower fees than if I were to accept a credit card. So let's just push Bitcoin, even though we don't necessarily want to hold the volatility or we don't really understand it yet. But if we push Bitcoin, then we're going to get lower transaction fees. And so that's eureka moment has hit a few people like, wait a second,
Welcome to the Business Bitcoinization Show, the show dedicated to helping you enrich your life and grow your business with Bitcoin, the hardest money on planet Earth. I'm your host, Josh Friedemann, and our guest today is Sterling Yennie, who's the VP of North America for IBEX. He's a passionate Bitcoiner, but strays from the term maxi. He loves adventure, enduro, moto, climbing, and supporting local. He calls lightning the reverse orange pill that started it all for him. Now, I have been wanting to talk with someone for IBEX for a while because you may have noticed that a number of people have mentioned IBEX on this podcast, and in the coming weeks, you'll hear more people talking about IBEX based on interviews I've already recorded but not yet released. I wanted to figure out why people keep on bringing up IBEX as their go-to, and today we get some answers, and I hope you will see the benefit of using IBEX for your business. Now, before we get to our interview, we have this week's Bitcoin Meetup Spotlight, and this week it's Lincoln Land Bitcoin. Lincoln Land Bitcoin is the premier and unrelatedly the only meetup in Springfield, Illinois. Meetups usually occur on the first Monday of each month and focus on different Bitcoin-related topics such as use cases, societal benefits, mining, time preference, and the Lightning Network. Co-hosted by founding members Dan and Tim, Lincoln Land Bitcoin delivers quality FUD-busting Bitcoin education. And if that weren't enough, they also have monthly drawings that provide opportunities for participants to receive free Bitcoin-related books and, yes, even free sats. Check them out on Twitter at BTC Lincoln Land or view past meetup content at the link in the show notes below. Next time you're in the area, be sure to drop on in and visit with the folks at Lincoln Land Bitcoin. And of course, between now and the next time you're passing through Springfield, Illinois, I encourage you to check out meetups near you using the Oshi app. There's a link for the app below, and in addition to helping you find meetups in your area, you'll also be able to see if there are any businesses in your area accepting Bitcoin, and if so, you'll very likely be able to get a discount with them using the Oshi app. Now, we're going to get to our interview with right after this. Business owners, unlock the benefits Bitcoin has to offer your business with the Bitcoin for Business Quick Start Guide. This 27-page guide highlights the 6 ways you can grow your business with Bitcoin. Check it out in the show notes. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Josh, for having me. Great to be here.
So I like to start off every single interview with a few questions that help us to get to know you a little bit better and give us some insight for our own lives. So you ready for these?
Yeah, absolutely.
Question 1 is this: when and how did you first learn about Bitcoin?
It was towards the end of 2017, and a good friend of mine, business partner, was talking about all these altcoins and get rich quicks, and everyone was making money at the time, and so we allotted a certain amount, and we diversified, and promptly within about 3 weeks, I had a quarter of my money left after going to Shitcoin University. So, I knew Bitcoin was part of that holding at the time, and it had suffered less, but everything remaining, I just left it in Bitcoin. I said, okay, I assumed I was going to lose everything to begin with, but the fact that we have some left is great, and I'm just going to write it all off and leave it here in Bitcoin. So that was kind of the end of the journey for a while. I mean, I knew I had that little piece out there, and then I checked back in 2020, And we had made the money back that we had lost. And once again, I kind of had it like everybody else had it. You need to have some of this stuff. But I never went through the process of learning what Bitcoin was or going down the rabbit hole and putting in the time which is required in Bitcoin to truly like get the eureka moment or the aha and understand its benefits. And then I got the reverse orange pill last November when I ran into, or I met with the CEO of IBEX, Jose Limos, and he showed me our IBEX Pay solution for merchants. And I've read a lot of white papers, and all the white papers do a lot of white paper things, and they all sound great, but to actually have a tangible product, which I saw work in front of me and transact instantly in Bitcoin, was something that I was kind of blown away by. So I kind of learned Lightning Instant Bitcoin first, and then kind of reversed orange pilled myself, I like to say, and started learning about how to do Bitcoin. And I've actually transferred that method onto a lot of our clients as well. It's like, hey, do your first Lightning transaction, put $100 in a Lightning wallet, and if you really want to take it out of Lightning, then go through learning about on-chain and opening up these cold storage, et cetera, et cetera. So just a technique I use to kind of trickle people in. But that was the origins, and now I'm fully down the rabbit hole, and I love it now because we have this great R&D team. I say something within the Bitcoin community that some people haven't heard of before, and it's like, oh, how lucky am I to have such great access with our IBEX R&D.
So I want to double click on something because you mentioned kind of the reverse orange pill. You're kind of talking about backing in from the, I guess, customer facing side of things and then getting more into the deeper technical side. Is that right?
Yeah, basically starting with Lightning and understanding, just how quick and easy a Lightning transaction is, and then going in and learning, more about Bitcoin and the, on-chain versus Lightning payments and setting up the time to, get yourself on a non-custodial wallet, et cetera, and really learning the details of Bitcoin, which make it powerful. But I think when people experience that first Lightning transaction and just how easy it is, that's the first oh, wow, did I really just send you, whether it's microcents or dollars or whatever it is, that quickly and that easily, and it's really yours, and I really just gave it to you without a middleman or a bank or anything like that. True peer-to-peer, instant money.
Question number 2 is this: what's an insight or fact about Bitcoin that you wish everyone understood?
I think for folks in the U.S. and developed countries, they don't realize how many people have either fled for conflict or looked for a better life in places like the U.S. and Europe, et cetera, and how many of those people still need to support things back home. They want to send humanitarian efforts. They want to pay for their kids' schools. They want to do all these things that right now are very hard for them to do with traditional money systems, especially in developing countries. So there is a huge amount of need for Lightning and Bitcoin around the world. We as Americans might not see it yet. So I think more people, Bitcoin, whatever. So I know we're solving real world problems here that are going to help, hundreds of millions of people in developing countries and beyond. So I think a little more study into how much that, helps the world and opens up a new era of global commerce is necessary.
Question number 3 is this: what is the Bitcoin resource that you most recommend to other people?
Well, interestingly enough, podcasts like yourself. I recommend podcasts. They're easy. You can listen to them. You can pick which ones you find interesting about companies that you're interested in or subjects that you're interested in. My personal, favorites, I got Pomp, Peter. I like On the Brink, which is more open about all blockchain technologies coming out. I think my intro said, I'm not a maxi. I'm a Bitcoin only focused person. I only hold Bitcoin, but I've never wanted to say there could never be another horse in the race. So I like to be apprised of potential new things and new technologies. So I always like to stay current within the blockchain industry. And then IBEX itself has a treasure trove. I think we're on 60 something episodes now of podcasts. And that was something that was very helpful for myself, when I first joined, is going through and listening to all of our own podcasts. And I found out about our competitors and our partners and all sorts of things in there that was very valuable. And the work was already done for me by just listening.
Beyond Bitcoin, what's a resource or an idea that's been helpful to you or your work with IBEX recently?
Well, I think the thing that puts IBEX kind of on the top of the map or keeps it in people's mouths is how we operate as a team and our team. We have a very diverse team that follows a certain set of core principles, but the foremost is just being kind and just doing what we're saying we're going to do. And I found in this industry there's a ton of energy and a ton of kindness. So if you kind of keep the theme and the Bitcoin ethos of being kind and doing good for others, you're going to be successful. And so that's one of our core values, and we really try to stick to it. And it's helped us tremendously within the industry too, putting our name out there, and these are the guys to work with.
And now we have our final arbitrary but insightful question, which is this. As a general life principle, is it better to ask why or why not?
Well, as somebody who I guess would say, it's better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission type of person, I would say why not? And just because why not's more liberating. Why is you're stifling yourself. Why not is you're asking why shouldn't I do this? So I would say why not's more liberating.
Meet Linkster, your premier Bitcoin-focused advisor. Linkster caters to businesses, institutions, family offices, and high-net-worth individuals. They merge your unique financial goals and needs with Linkster's Bitcoin expertise to craft your own sustainable plan to preserve and grow the value of your hard-earned profits and retained earnings. And Linkster is not just advice, it's tailored execution. Connect directly with the founder by visiting linkster.com. That's LYNCSTER.com. Linkster. Secure your future with Bitcoin. Today's episode of Business Bitcoinization is proudly brought to you by Velis Commerce, where the future of business technology meets Bitcoin. As we journey through the era of Bitcoin and its transformational impact on businesses, there's one name that stands out: Velis Commerce. Whether you're looking to build a cutting-edge website, a seamless mobile app, or custom software, Velis is your go-to team. They've been diving deep into the world of Bitcoin since 2014, making them one of the most experienced groups for integrating Bitcoin and Lightning payments into a variety of digital platforms. But here's what truly sets them apart. Velis Commerce doesn't just build. They bring a wealth of knowledge to ensure your project's success from day one. Their team understands the nuances of Bitcoin, ensuring that your business stays ahead of the curve. And for all business Bitcoinization listeners out there, Velis Commerce is offering a free consultation to kickstart your project the right way. So if you're ready to future-proof your business in the coming age of hyper-Bitcoinization, head over to veliscommerce.com or reach out on Twitter at veliscommerce. Let's make sure your business thrives in the Bitcoin era. Perfect. Well, Rye, we're here today to talk about what IBEX is doing, especially in the context of what it's doing for business owners, how business owners could incorporate it into what they're doing in order to accept Bitcoin payments and any other number of things we might talk about today. And I've told you this offline, but the reason I wanted to have someone from IBEX come on the show today is because I've heard person after person talk about IBEX, how great IBEX is, and I know there are a number of other companies, you've mentioned competitors already, but I haven't really heard those competitors mentioned on this podcast as much for people who are in business on a day-to-day basis. They keep on talking about you. I don't know why that is entirely, but I want to find out. So maybe could you just share with us a little bit about IBEX from the 10,000 foot perspective? Then we can maybe get into some of those details about what business owners can be thinking about and how they can maybe partner with you in the future.
Super. Yeah. I'll give a quick and dirty on this. So IBEX was founded in 2017 in Guatemala, mainly as an OTC desk for a place for people to buy and sell Bitcoin. There wasn't that service back then, and our founders, that's kind of where they started. And then with El Salvador announcement just over a year ago, about a year and a month ago, of them making Bitcoin legal tender, we were right across the border, and we drove over there, and El Salvador had said they were going to give away $30 to every citizen, but there was nowhere to spend this money. They required all merchants to be able to accept Bitcoin, but how? There was no solution to do so. So we put a super heavy ask on our CTO, Rafa, who's a great guy and just really just always leading an amazing dev team. And he had our MVP of IBEX Pay, or our prototype of IBEX Pay ready in about 2 weeks. And so we went over and we quickly signed up. Starbucks. You might have seen the videos online. Is the first coffee sold with Bitcoin. And that was via IBEX. And so we got Starbucks, Benihana's, Subway. Pizza Hut, all these major chains down in Central America quickly joined our forces as soon as they found out we had a solution. And so that's kind of where it kicked off. And then We did that we continued to do that, but for about 4 months after that, we moved to Miami, or we opened a team in Miami, which I was leading, and we began getting ready for Bitcoin Conference 2022, which we were the official payment processor for BTC 2022, and processed over 107 merchants at that conference within those 4 days, which was really a great experience. And then from there, we've been expanding our products. And so I guess if you don't mind, I'll just say quickly what our products are and what we are doing now as a company. Current as of today, IBEX offers 3 real products. One, we have IBEX Pay, which is our merchant-facing grassroots kind of educational marketing product. We give the product away for free, so any business owner on the car, listening to this podcast right now, it's free to sign up. We just charge transaction fees, which are much lower than credit cards. So that's IBEX Pay, merchant, brick and mortar store, or e-commerce shop. You want to accept Bitcoin, hit pay with Bitcoin, boom, that's that product. And then we have IBEX Hub, and that's our infrastructure product for enterprise businesses. So if you're a wallet or an exchange or anything using legacy payment rails and you want to move money in the quickest, fastest, most secure method in history, because Lightning is tied to Bitcoin, we basically give you the APIs and the Lightning rails to do so, and we kind of handle the special sauce behind the scenes for those that are not knowledgeable about Lightning. If you have to fund channels and run nodes, which are really servers and liquidity pools, and we do all that for you. So really all you have to do is worry about accepting your money and moving the money. So IBEX Hub is our infrastructure product for enterprises. We have multiple APIs. We have IBEX Cash that runs on that, which is our remittance services. IBEX Pay APIs, which are more e-commerce focused, and then again, wallets, exchanges. And then our third product is DWM, which is Digital Wealth Management, and that is a white glove service for ultra high net worth individuals that are looking to buy and sell Bitcoin. And that's everything from estate planning. A lot of people don't think of what they do with their private keys. If they were to pass, how does that get handed down? So a lot of those white glove services for people that would like to use financial instruments in Bitcoin.
So I think of those 3 things, the one that will be most helpful for most business owners, right, is going to be IBEX Pay. That being said, for the ultra high net worth individuals listening to this podcast right now, I think it'd be interesting to hear a little bit more about what that would look like, as well as talking about IBEX Hub. So maybe could we just kind of go in reverse order, talk a little bit about the digital wealth management, and then we can go to the Hub after that and talk about who's right for this and maybe how you can help people in a more tangible way.
Totally. Well, for DWM, I would say have another one of these with Rodrigo, who is our head of digital wealth management. He came from 10 years at Citibank and is now fully Bitcoinized, and he's leading that division. And like I said, it's just a white glove service for things you might want to do as an ultra high wealth, a lot of financial instruments, like I said, estate planning, etc. And then Hub product, I would say that's 90% of our business. And that, again, is our Lightning rails, where we provide you the APIs. Say you're a ticketing company and you want to have native Lightning QR code pop up and have your own dashboards. We just give the API, says, generate the invoice and then have your own dashboards. For remittances, that kind of stuff, we do white label wallets. So if you want to start a Lightning remittance service, we'll white label you a wallet. And the beauty of Lightning is, and especially for Hub, is you don't have to own the whole channel, right? You don't have to have the cash in or the cash in, the transfer, and the cash out point like a Western Union, right? We can offer you the top funnel piece, meaning you're accepting currency and sending to another Lightning company in Mexico. We can offer you the middle piece, which is the white label wallet, which does the transacting, or we can offer you the end piece, which is the off ramp once you get the money to Mexico, and you want to take fiat or convertibility Mexican pesos, then we can offer that as well. So you can really plug and play and build the best solution for what you want, depending on what type of business you have, and that's the beauty of Hub. And then, like you said, the one that'll be most interesting for this call or probably most applicable is IBEX Pay. And IBEX Pay, like I mentioned before, you can go to ibexpay.ibexmercado.com, and it's a very simple registration. You put in your email, create a password, and boom, you're in. You don't have to do any KYC. We only KYC you if you want fiat convertibility, meaning if you are a business and you want to accept Bitcoin, but you don't want to deal with the volatility of Bitcoin, you still want your dollars, you charge $20 for a burger, well, we'll send you the $20 for the burger, we take the Bitcoin. The fees are the only thing that are different on that, and we charge 0.5% if you keep Bitcoin, or 1% all in if you want USD convertibility into your bank account. So that's the difference. And the real use for IBEX Pay is if you're a restaurant owner or even somebody at a farmer's market, it allows you to put a we call them BPTs, Bitcoin Payment Terminal, on any device. So we're device agnostic. Once you've created your account, you can basically pull your charging station or your portal onto your cell phone and save it as an app to your home screen. The reason we did this was because a lot of the developing countries we work in don't have app stores or don't have the app in the app stores that we want. So you can just pull it right off the web and save it as an app to your home screen. And this way you can have full control over your Bitcoin accepting Bitcoin payments. If you were to just open a Lightning wallet and hand that around, well, now people have access to your funds, they can move money, etc. You give someone an IBEX Pay terminal, the only thing they can do is charge money on your behalf. And it's a very, very simple onboarding process that requires very little time. So that's kind of the IBEX Pay product.
So I want to dig into why business owners that I've talked to, as well as partners like Michael Atwood from Oshi, why they find IBEX so beneficial to what they're doing. What is it that sets IBEX apart from any other company out there as far as, conversations you've had with other business owners?
First thing I would say is our team. We are an incredibly responsive team that are very into the industry, and we are eager to please our clients. We are always interested in our clients' feedback. We're interested in the different industries our clients come from. We're constantly seeking out the feedback to make our product better for our clients. So I think that really encourages our clients to feel like partners more than clients. Our fees, I believe, are the lowest in the industry in terms of accepting Bitcoin. And then there's a bunch of positives that business owners like no chargebacks, which is, just standard across Lightning, so no one can call and cancel the credit card. And there are weird, unique industries that we saw that pop up in that were it was like a huge point for people. Tattoo industry, and specifically, I didn't realize how many people got tattoos, then called and canceled on the credit card after getting permanent ink on their body. It seemed very not the thing to call and dispute, especially. Yeah. Apparently it was a big thing. And then I think a big one, and as we move from, we've kind of narrowed down our target audience and customer, we focus really heavily on the food and beverage industry in Miami before the conference, onboarding, 50 plus merchants around Miami. And the problem with that industry is unless you're a Bitcoiner or unless you're interested in Bitcoin and you want to train your staff on what it is and why it's better, they're not going to have the product knowledge that when somebody walks in and wants to spend and pay in Bitcoin to either remember that you told them this, or it's just a high turnover industry. So you really have to be either a Bitcoiner or want to push Bitcoin acceptance at your restaurant. We found the guys that made us come in the most and explain the most, and the club owners and all these guys that were they just wanted to open their door to a new customer without having to do any of the work to get the new customer, like putting the sticker in the door, etc. If you're not willing to put in that work, proof of work, you most likely won't see too many transactions at your restaurant. But then you'd go to places like I said, tattoo shops, and they'd put the sticker up, and a lot of people came through and be like, oh, I'd love to try that. I didn't know that was possible. Let me try it. Here's my Coinbase wallet. And you say, oh, no, you can't use a Coinbase wallet. You have to have a Lightning wallet. And you go, oh, I didn't know that. Let me download a Lightning wallet. Which one do you recommend? And you'd see a lot of that in some industries. But the industry that we've really caught on with, and I'll go into our ambassador program after this, but is the food supply industry. The real appeal for people in the food supply industry is this peer-to-peer transaction, peer-to-peer food in the cattle industry, in the ranching industry. People are having, trouble in that industry as is with all the regulations and everything that goes into being a food producer. And it's very much, pigeonholed for the few. The rules and the laws are made to accept the few, and everybody else is going to be very hard for. But there's a whole regenerative ranching push in the U.S. right now where you have grass-fed regenerative ranched beef with tons of suppliers, and they want to sell their beef directly to the consumer and cut out that huge processing middleman. I think 4 processors control 90% or 85% of our beef industry. That's kind of an issue. It's the centralization. If one thing goes wrong at one plant that's processing 18,000 head of cattle a day, well, we've all seen what goes on with our food prices. It gives the freedom back to the people in a way. And so we've seen a lot of food suppliers kind of switch to this. No, we're going to go straight peer to peer, and Bitcoiners love this, and they want to buy half a cow or a quarter cow off of Oshi or off of the Beef Initiative or from any of their local ranchers. Shake your rancher's hand has become like a motto that I've heard a lot recently, and it's true. So peer-to-peer, and I guess recontrolling or taking back control of the food supply industry has been a big one for us.
Now, you just mentioned the ambassador program. I don't know what that is. We'll go into that in just a second. But before that, I do want to kind of go back to something you alluded to earlier. And this is something that, having talked with business owners who don't know much about Bitcoin, aren't super interested in Bitcoin, they'll raise up different arguments. One of the things is they don't want to hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Mm-hmm. And long term, of course, I would highly, highly recommend that. But there are also some businesses that don't have super high margins, and so they need the cash. And one of the keys is being able to quickly convert anything you receive in Bitcoin to cash, or at least a portion of that. So could you talk a little bit about that? Like, is that one of those things where you have to go one way or the other, set a certain percentage for every transaction? How do business owners use that feature?
It's actually funny because there's been a few businesses that have had the eureka moment, and they go, wait a second, even if I take the cash from IBEX and I don't take any Bitcoin, I'm paying lower fees than if I were to accept a credit card. So let's just push Bitcoin, even though we don't necessarily want to hold the volatility or we don't really understand it yet. But if we push Bitcoin, then we're going to get lower transaction fees. And so that's eureka moment has hit a few people like, wait a second, But yeah, so what we offer is you can take 100% USD. Like I said, you buy a $20 burger, we'll send you the $20 minus the 1% processing fee. So 20 cents out, you'll get $19.80. And we will send that to your bank account. And it's pretty much that simple. Or you can take 100% Bitcoin, or you can take any split in between. So if you want to take 20% USD and 80% Bitcoin, or vice versa, we offer that. And at the point of transaction, we charge, say, 20%, the 0.5% fee for keeping in Bitcoin, and 80%, the 1% fee for the USD convertibility.
So then the follow-up question is, and this once again is for those business owners that they're just kind of like grasping at straws for why they shouldn't think about accepting Bitcoin. But whenever they make that conversion from Bitcoin to USD on your end, is there any type of potential for appreciation where they'd have to pay some sort of tax on a infinitesimal capital gain?
We handle all volatility. So all they are dealing, it's as if they received cash. They're reporting it the same way as if they received cash because it's Lightning. At the point of payment, that's what they're reporting, and that's what we're sending them.
Part of the benefit of having you on this podcast is so we have it on public record that there's no reason for a business owner not to accept Bitcoin, because they can cut out processing fees and still make all of the US dollars that they want. And so that right there is the magic sauce. There's no reason not to accept Bitcoin, even if you don't believe in Bitcoin. But if you do, then there's all these other incentives that come along with it. So I appreciate getting that very clear for anyone who's listening to this in the future. Very
clear, loud and clear, and it's 100% true. There's no incentive, or there's no reason not to open your door to a new client type. And there's many reasons to do so. So we've tried to make it as easy as possible for anyone to set this up, from the ease of sign up all the way through to our support. Everything is kind of handheld. We've created a ton of educational resources. We have a small business handbook with Lightning Poppy, who's kind of like a agnostic educator within the space, and with lots of tips and what wallet to use or recommend to your customers, and we'll give you a data room to download stickers, or we even send some people, if they write us directly, we'll send you Bitcoin accepted here stickers for your door. So we give you all the resources we can, and I'm just gonna make one. I want to tell one story for all the business owners out there that are thinking about it. And it's a cool story. It's a feel-good story of one of our clients in Miami on South Beach, and he has a over-the-counter taco shop. And it's one of the best, I say the best in Miami, but a lot of restaurants, high-end restaurants in Miami, buy their blue corn tortillas from him. He makes them in-house. So he's just kind of a supplier of tortillas outside of being just a taco shop. And he came from being a Bitcoiner, and he wanted to spread this heavily, and he wanted to accept Bitcoin payments. And he basically covered up the MasterCard and Visa sign on the door with a sticker, and he put one behind the register, and he put a copy of the Bitcoin Standard behind, on the shelf behind the restaurant next to the sombrero for decoration, and he really put it central theme. And then he also held a book club with his employees. At the end of each month, he would go ahead and they'd have to read a certain section of the Bitcoin Standard. And what happened is he said he'd never had lower turnover in staffing because he showed his employees that he cared about their financial future. And he offered to pay them in Bitcoin or in USD, whatever they'd like, but he wanted to teach them that there is something else out there. And a lot of his employees, being in Miami, are from other places. So they're immigrants, and they've already had, exposure to Bitcoin coming from Venezuela or Argentina or these places where Bitcoin mattered. You start saving Bitcoin, you see the inflation of those currencies, and Bitcoin was a huge deal for them. So they already had a little bit of a base, and so super low turnover. And John from Taquiza, he about 4 to 5% of his revenue in Bitcoin because he put it so out there and he taught his employees so well. Someone walked in and say, "Hey, do you take Bitcoin?" They, yes, and we take Lightning Bitcoin. They could explain the difference between Lightning and Bitcoin. They were able to really facilitate that process for the end customer. So just a little tidbit there.
Now, you did mention earlier the ambassador program. Tell me a little bit about that, what it is, and we'll just go from there. What is it?
This is something I developed out with our IBEX Pay business lead. I should have had her on the call because this is her department, but I grew it with her, and so I'm also very happy to be here. But Annalise Falchuk, many people within the community know her. She is our grassroots guru, and it was something we developed together where it's like, well, Bitcoiners are really grassroots people. They're farmers market folk. They're people that want to shake each other's hands and kind of build a community. Well, how do we spread that around the U.S. without just being some corporate company dropping email marketing campaigns to restaurant owners that are gonna So we started the ambassador program with the idea of let's go find all the Bitcoiners in the States that have Bitcoin meetups. They are holding their Bitcoin meetup somewhere at some restaurant, and let's offer them a financial incentive to sign up their local merchant. Well, maybe we'll sponsor their Bitcoin meetup, or and it kind of evolved into a fee structure, which we have now for the ambassador program. So anyone listening to this that would like to onboard local merchants, anywhere they are, we have ambassadors around the world. We have almost 50 ambassadors right now. Not everyone is accepted, right? We have kind of like not a hiring criteria, but we have kind of a check box that we go through to onboard ambassadors. I would say write Annalise, ANALYS, at ibexmercado.com and subject line ambassador program, and she would be happy to set you up and send you the information required to get going. And it's quite a substantial, so everybody knows it's $50 to onboard a restaurant, and then once you hit a certain amount of transaction fees, there's a $100 incentive after that. So we're really pushing for adoption, not just, hey, go sign up 100 places and try to. No, we want to see transaction volume. We want to see you holding your meetups there and spreading this locally. And we have little thresholds, like you have to onboard 4 places within 2 months, blah, blah, some rules, create a video, put it on social media, etc. You're an ambassador. You have to have our core values, be kind, respect people, the usual, be nice.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate that, and hopefully some people will take you up on that. I know we'll have people who go to Bitcoin meetups listening to this, and maybe their restaurant or wherever else it is doesn't accept Bitcoin yet. It's a great opportunity for them. Rye, any final thoughts before we finish up? And then regardless of that, where can people go to find out more about IBEX and how they can partner, either once again as an ambassador or just maybe becoming a client of IBEX?
Yeah, absolutely. So info at ibexmercado.com for any questions, whether you want to be a client, ambassador, apply for, you're interested in anything, just send us an email there. IBEXmercado.com is the website. We are transitioning all of our sites within 2 weeks. I think the launch day is October 7th or 10th, and it will be 2 sites. We'll have powered by IBEX. .com, and we'll have ibexpay.io specifically for our merchant-facing solution. And powered by IBEX will be all of our hub products. So yeah, that's where you can find us. And on Twitter, IBEX Mercado and IBEX Pay.
Perfect. Well, Rye, thank you so much once again for your time today. It's been a pleasure.
Hey, Josh, appreciate it.
All right, friends, it's a wrap. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Business Bitcoinization Show. As always, any links you want, you can probably find them down in the show notes. Please share this episode with a business owner who could benefit from hearing this, especially if they're not sold on Bitcoin yet. With IBEX, there's no reason not to accept Bitcoin in your business. As always, keep building, keep growing, and until next time, keep living and leading well. If you're a regular listener of the podcast, thank you. If you want to take a further step in your support for the show, you can help us grow by listening on Fountain, a value-for-value podcast app on iOS or Android. If you hear something you like that you disagree with or anything else, you can share it by sending some sats and adding a comment with your thoughts. Some of you have already done this, and I appreciate it. I'm going to begin reading your boosts on upcoming episodes, so if you have some insight or value to add, let the people know. Getting started with Fountain is easy. You can add Bitcoin to your Fountain wallet by using your fiat accounts or any Lightning wallet. And one of my favorite features is that once you're using the app, you can earn sats just by listening on Fountain. Check out the link in the show notes to get started with Fountain today.